This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by WeUseCoins.com. Alright, I'm standing here with Jackie from Nashua, who you just got back from the February 19th event. It's not February 19th, but you got back from Washington and all that stuff where the Adam Kokesh was taking on the feds and protesting at D.C. You've made some interesting observations as to what you think will happen in New Hampshire as veterans get released, disgruntled veterans get released from the military. Tell me about that.
Well, I marched with about 500 vets and also active duty. A lot of the active duty had to march in civilian attire due to retaliation and that kind of thing. So really the numbers are not quite exact, but as far as I can tell, there were about maybe 500 marching with the vets and the troops, and then maybe about 1,000 people in support, family and supporters marching behind the formation. We did we achieved our mission, which was to alert the man that thinks he's our leader that he's not, and we're following our orders. We're only following lawful orders. We're taking our orders from Commander-in-Chief Paul, really, because he's the only one that's providing any good leadership. Of course, we're being led currently into the grave, and a lot of veterans and troops are hurting. There are families being ripped apart, and there are a lot of financial issues and health-related problems. And as I mingled with a lot of the veterans and the troops, both discharged, active duty, retired, of all kinds, the bottom line was that with regard to the Free State Project, I found out that a lot more of the military segment know about the Free State than I realized. I was the first Free Stater, so you'd think I'd know something about it.
And you're ex-Army, right?
I'm former Army,
yeah.
Army Reserve from 91 through 99. I was honorably discharged in 99.
But
so
you're finding
I proudly marched with the formation and was happy to represent those in the field who can't represent themselves because they're dead or maimed or hurting or still in the field. Our mission is to get the troops out of the field because our ranger buddies are stuck and it's a real emergency. So we did let the guy in the White House know that this is a real problem. We need to be bound only by lawful orders.
But again, back to the connection with the New Hampshire, you were saying that you felt like a lot of veterans were going to, what was their disposition, or?
Well, I feel that I was surprised at the number of people I talked to who knew about the Free State Project and knew that there was a Free State Project, first of all, and then secondly, the reception when I introduced the Free State Project to those who were not already familiar. There was a "where do I sign up" reaction. So it was what I was seeing was people hurting and displaced and looking for a place to go heal themselves, their wounds, the families' wounds, the suffering that they're experiencing. There was hope to find out that there is a place in the United States that is better and getting better, not worse. A lot of the troops left their home in this country and went on active duty and then came back to a place where their friends were out of jobs and their family had lost their home and these kinds of things. They didn't have a job to come back to, or are physically or emotionally or mentally unable to do whatever they were previously doing, and these kinds of things are happening. So New Hampshire, being a state that's actually offering a lower unemployment rate, more prosperity, a greater degree of charity and humanitarianism, is a rather attractive and rather peaceful place for vets seeking peace and troops.
And of course, they're also, when they get back, they often don't have a super, tied down location.
Yes.
So that's another.
A lot of displacement and a place that offers a social network of people who understand what it means to have to heal and have to regain your senses and come back into a society that is loving and accepting. Well, that place is New Hampshire. It is pretty clear. While I shared my experience, my quality of life and my standard of living have gone upward, both both have gone upward. I have my last, I'm currently // self-employed, but my last 3 to 4 employers continue to ask me to please come back to work, and what I'm thinking in my head is, well, gosh, I guess I could hook a few people up with some jobs.
Yeah.
So we definitely have more prosperity to offer here in the Free State, and for people who are really down and out. People move because they're hurting, not because they're doing well where they are. Of course, if you're doing well where you are, you stay there. But if you are hurting, or you come back to a place that's more hurting than you left it, you start to think about things, and you start to think about how your child's going to grow up, and what environment, what opportunities that they're going to have. And so, of course, when there's a state like New Hampshire that shows an increasing wealth, increasing standard of living, increasing prosperity, increasing charity, increasing generosity, increasing number of people who have an above average intellect, above average education, both actually everything seems to be going upward in New Hampshire, except for the bad things. A decreasing crime rate, so all of these things come together. And talking to a veteran who has, quote, been around the world and back, there's not much to argue, really, and so I do expect that we'll see an influx of not just veterans, but people who support veterans, or know veterans, or are related to veterans, or care about veterans, or our troops themselves.
Yeah, I mean, if they're donating all this money to Ron Paul, they could spend that money and just move here and already be somewhat free,
right,
instead of trying to fix Washington.
Yes, well, when we have troops sending whole paychecks to Dr. Paul because they figure, well, I might just die here where I am. What am I going to do with the paycheck anyway? Why not go ahead and try to help fulfill my oath by getting someone elected who was following the Constitution, which is the same oath. It's really all about the oath. The oath keepers were present, and of course they're always there but of course here in New Hampshire are a whole bunch of people who respect the oath, and who respect people who follow through with our oath. So it all makes perfect sense, of course. Why wouldn't it?
All right. Well, Jackie, you make perfect sense.
Oh, thank you. Glad to hear it from a fellow Free Stater.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you,
All
Dave.
Right. See you out there.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bitcoins, the world's first practical internet cash. A nightmare for governments to try and control. Inflation and counterfeit resistant. They return you some control over your money. And a new measure of anonymity. A lot cheaper to use than PayPal. You can use them to buy tax-free cigarettes. And almost anything else. I accept Bitcoins. So can you. Get started at WeUseCoins.com.